there, I'm Amber.garofalo, and this is the home buying journey as we share with clients. So I am going to make my screen just a little bit bigger here so we can go through this together and you can actually read each step. So the path to home ownership. So first we say contact our team because we want to understand what your goals look like and what's important to you as you approach the home buying journey. Ultimately, the products that are going to be best suited to you are going to align best with your overall financial and long-term goals. So we want to know what those look like so that we can help vet out products that will be good options for you in your home search. The next step is to fill out an application and we will schedule a pre-approval meeting so we can review the information that you've provided as well as your income and asset documentation. During this meeting, we'll also go through rates, terms, payments so that you can get a better handle on what to anticipate along the way and get some idea of what your qualifications will look like. The next step, once you're fully pre-approved, is to get out there and find your perfect home with your realtor. So sometimes this takes a little bit of time to find the perfect place. Sometimes it can go very quick. We've had clients that get pre-approved and then the next day go under contract for their first home. So it can happen super fast, even though you've probably been told it can take some time. It can also go the other way around. Once you've found the perfect home that you like, your agent, your realtor partner is going to help you submit an offer to the sellers. So we recommend working with a realtor to represent you as a buyer in this process, because as a buyer, the seller's agent, the listing agent is defaulting to represent the seller. So they're not going to help watch out for your best interests. So being represented by a buyer's agent in the real estate transaction is strongly, strongly recommended. But that agent will help you draft an offer to the sellers. When you have an agent involved, they're going to help give you guidance on what you should be offering for repricing. They can connect with the listing agent and kind of be that middle person between you and the sellers to vet out what they're hoping to accomplish, what terms will be acceptable, things like that. You submit your offer, the sellers can either say yes, no, or maybe. Maybe simply means that there's countering going on, counter offers being presented back and forth. Buyer and seller can go back and forth on specific terms before everybody's agreeing to the same set of terms and saying we have a set deal. Once we do have a set deal, the offer has been accepted, meaning buyers and sellers have signed the same set of terms on the same contract. Then it's considered an application in the lending world. So really, until you're under contract for your new house, we don't have the property that we can start doing all the property specific things for. So once you go under contract for your house, that's considered application. We have an address that we can start to do all of the property specific loan duties for. Generally, at about this time, my team will contact you to reschedule a disclosure Zoom or Teams call together so that we can go through all the terms, make sure that we're setting up the loan how you like. Sometimes it's kind of a conversation, because if you need to preserve monies for things that need to be done in the home, you know, we can put down less, you can put down more if it's you don't need to do anything to the house. So sometimes that's kind of a game plan that we put together after you're under acceptance. During that that disclosure meeting, we'll also game plan what the market's doing for interest rates to help you develop a good lock float strategy. You're going to do any inspections that you negotiate with the seller early on in the process. Once you're through inspections, it's really when we would issue out the loan disclosures, order the appraisal, so long as you're committed to buying the house still, and start ordering the title work. The appraisal is a big step that a lot of people are anxious about happening to make sure that the home appraises for at or above the purchase price that you've offered the sellers. The appraisal is done for our investors to make sure that the collateral is intact for them for the amount of loan that they're giving you, and that your down payment requirements are met and things like that. We'll underwrite the loan as well. Our underwriting team makes sure all I's are dotted, T's are crossed, you tell us you make $2,000 per month, we have to document that to our investors. So the underwriting process is making sure that everything is matchy-matchy and perfect and qualifies for what the investor requires to give you the loan. It's pretty common in that process. We do get a conditional loan approval. More than likely, when you're working with my team, we've already told you everything that's needed. And when we get this step, it sometimes is just things that maybe we're still waiting for, or we're waiting for from other parties like the seller or the title company. Once we get all of the conditions back into the underwriting team, they basically clear those conditions from the loan approval, and we get what's called the clear to close in the industry. That simply means that you're 100% ready to go for the investor to fund the loan to you at closing. So it's kind of nice when we get to that step, then you can relax. The closing disclosure, we will send out to you 4 to 7 business days ahead of time. The Amber G team is unique in the industry that we balance these figures fully with the title company. Most lenders will estimate those funds sometimes up until the day of closing. So it can just be kind of frustrating, a little clunky when you're trying to plan and make sure that there's no surprises towards the end of this process. Something you're going to want to know, we'll give that to you plenty in advance. We send everything to the title company that you get to sign on the day of closing. Generally speaking now, most closings are done via a hybrid process. So some of the documents can be electronically signed. And then the more serious documents like the note, which is your promise to repay, and the mortgage, which is your security interest or instrument filed on the property to denote that the lender has an interest. You'll sign things like that. The deed, you'll get an original copy of, and some of the documents are still required, depends on the state, to be wet signed as well. But we'll send everything to the title company that you'll need to sign on the day of closing. You do a final walkthrough of the home with your realtor partner. So usually it's scheduled the night before closing or sometimes even the morning of. And really you're just going to the home one last time to make sure that the seller didn't take stuff they're supposed to leave. So the final walkthrough, generally you're going to schedule that with your realtor the night before closing or the morning of, just to make sure that nothing has materially changed with the home since you were last in it. Want to make sure that the sellers didn't take things that they were supposed to leave. If they were supposed to make repairs to the home, that those have been done, that there wasn't a major storm that ripped through the area and destroyed parts or, elements of the home or the property. So the news, the idea is if you go to the final walkthrough and something is wrong, you still reserve all the rights to negotiate with that seller before you sign everything at closing, give them the money, and the home is yours. So usually at that point, people are fairly motivated to make things right if they aren't as such, just because everybody's kind of packed up and ready to go. So at closing, you'll close at a title company. They will go through the documents with you, notarize the documents, meaning somebody witnesses you signing the forms and certifies that you signed them. And that's when all the rest of your money is due. But as soon as you're done signing, as soon as you get the deed transferred, you give all your money for down payment, cash to close, you get the keys to your new home and you become a homeowner that very same day. So it's pretty exciting stuff. From start to finish, we find clients, once they're making an offer, getting to closing, most commonly closing around a 30-day time frame. If you're doing down payment assistance or USDA or some other loan programs, we may request some additional time because those loans do take longer to process, longer for all the approvals through the state to come through. But 30 days is generally plenty of time for us to get to closing. Once we have a full pre-approval, everything from you, we're all ready to go. So then it's just simply up to you to get out there and find that perfect home with your realtor and get something under contract. Then we pick up the pieces and start the loan journey once again.